So let's start with personality. Personality is defined as a person's style of dealing with the world, and particularly their style of dealing with other people. And intuitively, we have a sense of what it is to be a certain personality. You acknowledge that you're a certain type of person. Maybe you're shy or funny or extroverted or conscientious, moody. There's some way of characterizing it. You could characterize the people you know this way. You can characterize fictional people like Homer Simpson, or famous people you don't know like Kanye West. And based on your experience of their actions, you can make inferences about their personality. But the question is, how can we scientifically zoom in and characterize personality? And through the history of psychology, there have been attempts to have different tests, different measures of personality. One way to assess the test is on two criteria: reliability and validity. Reliability involves measurement error. So reliability is if you test the same person over time, you should get the same result. That's what a reliable test is. If somebody goes in their bathroom scale and they're 160 pounds, then they step off and they step back on and it's 160 pounds again, it's a reliable scale, at least based on that test. If they step off and then step on and it's 20 pounds lighter, 20 pounds heavier, the scale isn't reliable. A second way to make sense of tests is validity, how well it measures what it's supposed to measure. So, for instance, you can determine, if you're into astrology, your personality by the date of your birth. This is a highly reliable measure. You'll test it over and over again, you'll always get the same results. But it's not a valid measure because it doesn't work. It doesn't actually measure your personality. And if you have access to the internet, which I assume you do, it's easy to take a lot of personality tests. Recently, I took the personality test online. Which superhero are you? And it said that I am Batman. I am dark, love gadgets, and have vowed to help the innocent not suffer the pain you have endured. Now, this isn't bad, but the test is neither reliable nor valid. It's not reliable because when I first took it, I came out as the Hulk. Then I took it again, I came out as a Wonder Woman. I kept answering the questions in different ways till I got the answer I wanted. Basically, I kind of wanted to be Batman. And it's not valid either because there's no reason to believe it actually taps any deep sense of our nature. We can try to do better. One classic personality test over time is the Rorschach inkblot. And this is a test that's been used for psychiatric cases, for criminal cases, part of clinical psychology training. And the idea is that if you properly interpret people's responses to the inkblot, to what do they see, and you should look at this and figure out what you see. Well, it turns out most psychologists believe it has no validity at all. It does not tell you anything about the deep aspects of your psychology. So it could be used as a game, but nothing more. So what's a more scientific approach? A while ago, the psychologist Gordon Allport took 18,000 traits from the dictionary that he viewed as bearing on personality. Now that's a lot, but it turns out they aren't independent. Many, many words are just different ways of saying the same thing. So whether somebody is friendly or sociable or welcoming or warm-hearted, basically you're capturing the same trait here. So psychologists then tried to zoom it down. The psychologist Eysenck broke it down into two main traits at first, whether you're introverted or extroverted, and whether you're neurotic or stable. And then there's a third trait, whether it's psychoticism versus non-psychoticism. Basically, are you sort of aggressive or are you compassionate? Cattell, as you see here, broke it down into 16 different factors. Factors like sociable versus non-sociable, bold versus timid, tense versus relaxed, and so on. Now, a lot of modern commentators have come to the consensus that 16 is too many and 2 to 3 are too few. And they've zoomed in on the big five. And these are neuroticism, stability. Basically, are you sort of a worrying, anxious, self-pitying, vulnerable person, or more calm? Extroversion versus introversion, which you probably know what it means. Openness to experience versus not open to new experiences. Agreeable versus antagonistic. And conscientious versus undirectedness. Basically, the idea is that the sort of questions you would ask of a new person, somebody you're interested in getting to know, will all fall under at least one of these five categories. Are they nice or are they nasty? Are they reliable or are they a flake? Are they nuts or are they stable? Are they bold or are they cautious? Are they a leader or a follower? And notice that the first two items on the scale are from I-Sync. Fortunately, for students interested in taking tests, if you switch around the order of these, you get the acronym OCEAN. And OCEAN is therefore a nice thing to remember as the big five of personality. And it turns out that these really work. So they're pretty stable over many years. If you test somebody at age 40 and test them again at age 50, you'll find that they're kind of the same. People agree on them. So the way you characterize yourself on the scale will roughly fit the way other people characterize you. And your score on the personality test will predict real-world behavior. People who are conscientious on the test tend to have more marital fidelity. People are openness to new experiences, change their jobs more. Extroverts look people in the eye more and have more sexual partners. And so, to a first approximation, we've answered part of the question of how people differ by focusing on personality and say there are 5 separate dials, each that could be turned to a different setting. And your pattern on those dials is your personality.